He was diagnosed last August, and he knew right away that this was terminal. We decided to talk about end-of-life care. We met with Dr. Bob the next day. The reaching out and the caring and the comforting in a very dignified way, not pampering. He was always present with Gideon in the place that Gideon was. And also for me, because I kept asking a lot of questions as a layperson. Well, what does this mean? And how are you going to do that? But what if, he never lost his patience. It was always equal to equal, and that made a big, big difference to me. We agreed to get the medicine, and I think it was in our house for a month, 6 weeks, which I understand is a long time. He kept saying, I'm not ready, but once his cognition started to fail, because liposarcoma, the kind that he had, is a muscle wasting disease. So his muscles were wasting away, but the brain is a muscle also, and that was beginning to go. And that was devastating to Gideon. And Gideon chose at that point to say, I will take the medicine. And Dr. Bob said, well, I have an opening tomorrow at 10 a.m. And Gideon said, I'll take it. As we brought in the medicine to him, Dr. Bob rang the bell. So Dr. Bob was sitting on one side and I was sitting on the other, and Elizabeth was over here, and I was right next to Gideon. And I don't think in my lifetime that I have ever been more peaceful and loving and intimate with Gideon at a time that I thought would have been fraught with angst and anxiety. That did not happen. Even though I'm not religious, that this was the most sacred of moments, just like when a baby is born, a child or a grandchild. To me, that's sacred, spiritually sacred. And I felt the same way when Gideon drank the medicine. We were still talking, and then he closed his eyes, and in 2 to 5 minutes, he was gone. He died. There was no pain, there was no angst, there was no anxiety. It was, I hate to use the word joyous because I don't mean joyous, but it was such a beautiful, spiritual, meaningful, peaceful, loving death. I have never experienced anything so wonderfully awful. Ending his life the way he did was a gift, certainly a gift to him. I'm just blessed by the idea that this was available and that we could use it through Dr. Bob. I think the value is priceless. I think that, and I said it many times to Gideon, and Gideon would acknowledge that it was worth every penny. I'm just very grateful and very, first of all, very admiring of the practice in the way that it's set up and in the delivery of what takes place. I guess my final words would be trust. Trust that you're in good hands, and trust that Elizabeth and Dr. Bob and Jen and whoever else is in the practice will bend over backwards to make sure that all your cares and comforts are well taken care of. that was our experience, and I am just totally grateful beyond words. So.